Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. We're at the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts at Lincoln Center to have a look at their stunning new exhibit called In the Company of Harold Prince, which celebrates the nearly 7-decade illustrious career of the man who forever changed Broadway. Let's have a look. So I'm here with Doug Reside, the curator of the Billy Rose Theater Division here at the Public Library, and you're the curator of this wonderful exhibit on Harold Prince. Doug, where are we?
So we're in a recreation of Hal Prince's office in probably about 1959. This is the office that he would have shared with Bobby Griffith that was part of the George Abbott offices. So at this desk, which is a recreation of Hal's desk, you can look at facsimiles of much of the paperwork that we actually reproduced from Hal's collection. So you can see receipts from Moosehead, I think, from Damn Yankees, and pajamas, an endorsement from a pajama company that wants to be called the Pajama Game. So there's all this interesting paperwork in the desks, and you can feel free to come and look through the desks and see what you find.
And behind us, we have an original Hirschfeld, right?
That's right. So there was a play called Say Darling about the making of a musical, and Hal was sort of caricatured in the play. And Hal, in his autobiography, says that originally he felt a little put off by it, but he recognized that Robert Morris's performance was sympathetic, and he came to, I think, appreciate the tribute to him.
And some amazing things on the wall here, original set designs.
Yeah, so Lemuel Ayres' designs for the Pajama Game are on the wall. We also have a ledger from West Side Story, his actual ledger that went all the way into the 70s, actually, because the show, still is drawing in royalties.
Facsimile of the door here, don't you?
We do, yeah. So you can come in and you can see the offices of Abbott, Griffith, and Prince on the door.
Where it all began.
It's true, yeah.
So listen, this is really cool. So are we rolling? This is very exciting. So the phone rings here.
She had great taste and great conviction.
This is so great. It's for me. It's Hal Prince himself talking about this is pretty amazing stuff, right?
Hal's stage manager, Ruth Mitchell, who was the production stage manager on West Side Story, really was his collaborator through his entire career. She later became a co-producer on shows like Company. We have a letter in the exhibition where he agrees to evenly split the fees for Company that they both received as producers.
So let's go through the exhibit.
Let's do it.
So Doug, this is the second room in the exhibit. So let's talk about this room. What's in here?
So this is our kind of recreation of Times Square. It's the shows that played on Broadway from about 1961 through 1966. So there are recreations of things like the Alvin Theater, where It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman opened, and Flora the Red Menace, and Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. We have Baker Street at the Broadway Theater, Fiddler on the Roof, and She Loves Me as well.
So what's behind us?
Oh, so this is a really fun piece that's actually part of the library's collection. So this is a roulette wheel that we believe Ruth Mitchell, his stage manager and occasional co-producer, gave him to recognize that every new production is a gamble. No matter how much you think it's successful or will just be an artistic success but not a commercial success, you can't really ever predict it. And what's really interesting is there's lots of photographs of Hal standing in front of this wheel, but most of the photographs show fewer shows on it. So it seems that they updated it over time. You can see that on the wheel, they currently have Parade and Kiss of the Spider Woman, so very late shows that were, I suppose, updated as late as the 90s.
Now, you also have some beautiful Boris Aronson set pieces in here. Let's talk about those.
So we have the actual Tevye's house where the fiddler's sitting on it, and then we have other pieces of the village rotating on a turntable as they would have been in the original production.
And the other thing about what I love about the poster work, too, is Tom Morrow did a lot of his designs for many of his posters of Hal Prince shows.
That's right. So we wanted to include as many of the posters as possible. Hal's office through most of his career actually had the posters on the wall. So when you would go into his office, you'd be overwhelmed with the amount of work that he had done. And so, I'm not sure that was the intention, but when you walked into Hal's office, you would see all of the posters. And it was just a really exciting thing. So we wanted to sort of replicate that in the exhibit as well.
This is a fascinating piece. What is this?
Yeah, so we've digitized Ruth Mitchell's prompt books for 4 of the shows: Cabaret, Baker Street, Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, and Flora the Red Menace. And as you read her notes on the original script, the images on this screen change to show what's happening at that moment in the play. So this room is dedicated to the person that Hal Prince says was the most important person that he was ever introduced to, Boris Aronson. Boris Aronson was a scenic designer who worked on shows including Fiddler on the Roof, but also Follies, Company, A Little Night Music. Many of the collaborations that Hal worked on with Stephen Sondheim were designed by Boris Aronson.
We are standing in front of the iconic set to Follies, which I've told many people at BroadwayWorld is my favorite musical, hands down. What's it like for you when you were curating all of this? I mean, putting it all together for this. I mean, tell me.
Yeah, so I think the first time I talked to you was my first day on the job, and I said that this is my favorite object in the collection, and it remains that. It's just a fantastically detailed set model that often we don't get. People aren't able to see because it's large and it's hard to bring out, and we have to keep it in special conditions. And so it's great to be able to bring it out to the public and let everyone see this really remarkable piece of art.
So another rare piece you have in here is the Company set by Boris Aronson.
That's right. So as we were thinking about how to represent Company in the show, we had Ruth Mitchell's slides that were used for the tour. So it was in her possession. It was created by Boris and his team. So during the production of Company, they used slides as projections in a very kind of early form of projection design. And we wanted to show those in the exhibition in some way. And so we thought about projecting them on the wall. And then we thought, what would happen if we tried projecting them on the Company set model? And what we realized is we think Boris built the model for exactly that purpose. So when you shine the slides on the back of the model, there's a sort of lucite board, and it immediately makes the model light up, and the slides are perfectly visible. It's really fantastic.
I call this the Sweeney Todd corner, right? So what are we standing in front of here?
So we were very fortunate that on the theater committee, we have a committee that advises the theater division. Kimiko Yoshi was one of the producers of the review Prince of Broadway, and she gave us this set from Prince of Broadway. So this is Bailiff Bort's recreation of Eugene and Franny Lee's pie shop in Sweeney Todd.
What are we standing in front of?
So Patti LuPone lent us one of her dresses from the Australian production of Evita. This is the Buenos Aires scene. The photographs from the production show that it was basically the same dress as was used on Broadway.
As you can see behind us, this is the Phantom of the Opera. Look how much wonderful stuff you have from this show.
Oh, it's fantastic. We were lent these set pieces, actual set pieces from the tour of Phantom of the Opera. So you can see the boat that the Phantom has, the organ from his lair. There's also, if you don't know the story, the masquerade scene, which opens Act 2, has a huge cast on the stairway during the ball scene, the masquerade scene. And many of the people on the stairway are actually mannequins. And so these mannequins are displayed in the exhibit as well.
And you have all of his posters above here, don't you?
Well, we have a lot of them, not quite everyone. He directed something like 51 shows, so we have quite a few, though, here. So this is the set from the Kiss of the Spider-Woman segment from Prince of Broadway. It was also used in the parade sequence as well. So this is the prison cell that the two characters are in. There's the magazine that Molina has that is sort of the film history magazine where he's celebrating Aurora, who sort of is this film star who also appears as the Spider-Woman.
So this is the final area of the exhibit. This is wonderful because to me this is a throwback to Cabaret, right?
Right. We have the mirror above us that Boris Aronson used to reflect the audience back at themselves, and we're using it to say that one of the collaborators with Hal is always the audience. And so as visitors to the gallery, we want the audience to participate in the company of Hal Prince.
This is such an interactive exhibit here because I'm sure many people have seen Cabaret or seen any of his shows and can actually come here with an accompanist and actually sing a song from a Hal Prince show, right? On this glorious little stage you set up here.
That's right, and we hope people do and post their videos of it on social media and whatever platform they like with Hal Prince NYPL.
Now let's talk about it. It just opened, this exhibit here. It runs till when?
March 31st, so you've got some time to come see it.
And like I said, the most exciting thing about the New York Public Library is everything is free. All you need to do is walk through the doors and experience all the wonderful things you have to offer, right?
That's right, and if you like what you see here, you can always run upstairs and see more of it. We have it available for the public all the time.
Thank you for doing what you do, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Doug. Thank you.